All right, everybody. Feels like we just talked to you. Obviously, a short week. Marshall playing against Georgia State, 7:05 p.m. ESPN2 this week. And to talk about that game, here is Coach Huff.
How's everybody doing? Really good to see you guys. Obviously on a short week, a lot of excitement coming up with this week. I want to start off, I mentioned it yesterday in the Sunbelt Media press conference. I want to apologize to all of Herd Nation for a completely unacceptable finish to a really solid performance Saturday. 100% on me. I take extreme ownership over it as the head coach. It's my job to help our guys finish at the end of those type of games. That game was more than winnable. No disrespect to Georgia Southern, who did a phenomenal job of taking advantage of the opportunities and playing a full 60 minutes. But that was definitely a winnable game. Anytime you go up 20-plus points on the road against a really good team, you got to be able to finish it. That's my job. That's our job as coaches to help the players do that. That is not who we are. Obviously, that was the result Saturday night, but that's not who we are. That's not the standard of our program. Our players aren't excited about it. But we get an opportunity to correct it. We made a mistake. We lost the game. It's an opportunity for us to learn. It's an opportunity for me to learn. It's an opportunity for the entire staff to learn. I appreciate all of the fans who were there, heard about the game, listened to the game, watched the game. I know you guys are as frustrated as we are when you get an opportunity like that and you don't close out. But our responsibility is to make sure we show up Thursday night and put on a very good show for this community, this university, and this program. We get to play to the standard that we know we're capable of playing for 60 minutes. For 56 minutes in that game, I thought our kids battled their tails off, and when they needed us as coaches the most, we've got to be better. We've got to have a better plan for them to help them manage those situations as the game goes on. Again, apologize to all the fans. Trust me, our players play for you guys. They play for this university. We talked about before that game the reason you put on that green jersey is not just for you and your family, but it's for all the people that have come before you, all the people that cheer for you, all the people that support you. And every time you get to put on, it's an honor, and we want to make sure we represent it the right way. So I take full responsibility for it. I also take full responsibility for getting this team ready to go Thursday night. And we're excited about that opportunity against another really good opponent. I think, obviously, where we are in the transfer portal, we have a lot of new players in. Some of them know the Sun Belt, some of them don't. And the learning experience for us from Saturday night is you got to play a full 60 minutes in this conference because no team is ever out of it. And this teaches us that we got to continue to finish games out. No team's ever out of it, and if you ever let up, this is what can happen. So Georgia State coming in, a really good team, a lot of respect for Coach McGee. Have known him for a very long time in the coaching profession. He's done a phenomenal job building that roster as much as he could. He got the job late, and he's kind of put together a phenomenal staff, probably the most veteran staff experience-wise in the Sun Belt, just with all of the experience that he has. You can tell by the way they game plan, by the schemes they run, that they're being coached well. His kids play tough. They're physical. They got some quick twitch guys up front on the D-line that make it difficult to block and move. Defensively, they're sound. They run to the ball. Obviously, they beat a Power 5 school earlier in the year, and they've been close in the last few games. It's been some moments here, opportunities there where the ball just didn't bounce their way, but they've been close. They've been in every fight. They've played to the end. So we're extremely excited about it. The beauty of a short week, which started out to look like, when you look at the schedule, it's like, man, this is going to be a grind, but the good Lord does everything for a reason. He knew we were going to lose that game, and we needed to get the taste out of our mouth by coming back Thursday. So we got an opportunity to learn from that situation and be ready to go Thursday.
When you look at what you guys were able to do well defensively in for much of that game, lots of rotating pieces in the secondary. Just what did you see out of some of those personnel groupings that you liked and were kind of messing around with?
Yeah, well, we weren't really messing around with anything. We try to have a plan typically for every move, even when that plan doesn't work. The pieces we were putting together, we've got probably a good. The beauty of, if you remember last year, we played a lot of young guys, AG, Amir, when JJ went down. So right now, those guys are still, very capable of playing. So we're trying to move them around, obviously, to get through this stretch of conference games and, kind of the grind of the season. We want to try and keep as many guys fresh as we can. So there's a little bit of a rotation where a guy may start at boundary safety, move to field safety, go to nickel, come out, kind of rotate it around. I think right now Coach Shoop's doing a really good job of getting all of those guys to learn all the positions. We talk about position flexibility, and what that does is if someone needs a blow or if someone goes down, you don't have to truly just sub in the two, whoever was listed on the depth chart. You can sub in the next best guy based on game plan. We knew kind of their game plan was going to be the quick passing game, try to get the ball out in the RPO. So there were some things that the secondary guys had to do to be involved in the run and the pass that just because the two is listed on the depth chart didn't give us the best advantage. So that's why we kind of had some pieces that kind of moved in multiple spots, if that makes sense.
You talked about how Georgia State, when they're on, starting with the offense. How are they getting their yards? How are they finding their success?
Yeah, I think their offensive coordinator is doing a really good job. Coach Chaney's been doing this for a long time. Like when you watch their games, there's a lot of scheme adjustments by the week. So they're putting their players in the best position. Their running backs are running hard. The quarterback has done a really good job hitting some deep balls down the field to the big receivers. That kind of gets them going. They do a good job in the screen game, which gets the ball out of the quarterback's hand quickly. And then they kind of have a pattern of how they attack certain defenses. Each week, obviously defenses are different, but the way they attack them are they're attacking their deficiencies. And their quarterback's doing a really good job of taking care of the ball. There's not a lot of turnovers. Running backs are running hard. When their offense is going, they're getting positive yards. What we've got to be able to do is try to get them behind the line of scrimmage a little bit and try to eliminate the explosive plays or the deep balls.
Coach, you guys move the ball so well on certain times during that game. When the plan is to rotate quarterbacks, does it ever deviate because one of them has got the hot hand, so to speak?
No, it really, honestly, it's more of a field zone type of deal for us. Field zone and series, is what our plan was the first couple of weeks. There's certain field zones where we wanted to, be more run-oriented. And then there's certain field zones and situations where we wanted to be a little bit more throw-oriented. The part that tripped us up is either quarterback in, when we got the ball in the end zone, we got penalties. We got 2 touchdowns taken off the board. The quarterback at that point didn't matter. It was the field zone was deciding what we were attacking based on what they were playing. I think what happened was, especially Braylon, when Braylon got in, when we got in the score zone or in that area, we didn't get any penalties, so he got the ball in the end zone. Stone gets in, we get the ball in the end zone, but now we get the penalties. That sets Reese up for the 51-yard field goal. Well, I told Reese, I'm excited about you hitting the 51-yard field goal, bro, but I would rather have the touchdown. But that's kind of what happened. And it's hard. It's still my job. I get it. But it's hard to say, well, it's the quarterback or it's this player when it's a team penalty. It wasn't a missed throw. It wasn't necessarily a bad read. It was kids playing hard and they got a penalty. Now, some of the things that happened backed up, I've never heard of the intentional grounding. They explained it to me. It makes sense. It makes sense now. It doesn't necessarily make sense, but they explained it to me. It's a miscommunication between the go route and the hitch and what the read is based on the DB. But based on where it happened in the pocket, I fully understand that. But that's a momentum swing that changes kind of what we were, had planned to do. Then once we got towards that 4-minute mark, Coach Saban's always told me, when you get to 4 minutes, you take the air out of the ball. If they don't have the ball, they can't win the game. So you're looking for ways to run the ball efficiently. They know we're running the ball. We know we're running the ball. We put ourselves in a situation where we had some plus run options. We hand the ball off to the running back if they don't play a certain defense. If not, the quarterback gets around the edge with a plus run. Braylon's trying his best to get an extra yard. Ball's out. It's on the ground, then we got an issue. So, again, it wasn't necessarily hey, we're playing a hot hand or whatever it may be. We were kind of playing the flow of the game. and it didn't work out in our favor.
Or as you say with the quarterbacks playing with like the flow game, switching back and forth. So you say it's probably will be the new norm of the offense going back and forth between Earl, Braxton, or is it later on down the road you'll try to stick with one quarterback? So what's your plan using two quarterbacks of moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think it's by week. It's not a hey, this is our plan back and forth. I do think we have we have a bye week coming up. We've got some time off coming up. We wanted to address the first 3 games in conference to see, where we were at all positions. During the bye week, we will make a decision on what way we go. It could be continue to use both if that's the best thing to help the team win. It could be to go with one. The kind of 2 quarterback option really came from more of the game plan and how we wanted to attack those specific teams, if that makes sense. Now, as we go, we'll still have that mindset, but we'll be able to assess now, okay, hey, both of them have played in games. Both of them have done some really good things. Both of them do things they like to clean up. Where are we at from an offense? Who and what do we really do well, if that makes sense? So that's kind of the plan.
Coach, tight end Toby Payne, I mean, obviously we've known this kid for a long time and knew of his potential. What have you been liking out of him from start to right at this moment in the season? Yeah,
I think he's done great. I mean, obviously this place means a lot to him. This area of the country means a lot to him. From being right up the road in Poca, it's awesome that he's healthy, because this is kind of what we had hoped for, last year before he got injured. And he's been healthy, and we've been able to kind of build his package each week. He's doing as much in the blocking game as he is in the catching game. I think that's where the tight end position, in today's college football is now. So it's good to see. I'm excited about it. I'm excited that he's been able to have some success because he's worked so hard. It means so much to him. I know it's when kids get injured, it's difficult because you play football and you grind and you do everything, and then all of a sudden it gets taken away from you. So last year was, we had our arm around him the whole time, and he did everything he needed to do to get ready. And this year, him coming back and having some success, I'm really happy for him.
Kind of along those same lines, you used him a lot in the red zone. And as the offense grows and matures in this new system, just how important is it to develop different targets and different weapons down in that area of the field, but really all over across the field too.
Yeah, obviously, when you get down in the red zone, speaking to your question, the field gets condensed. Okay, then you start to have to make decisions on who you're guarding. Obviously, if most people are going to guard Fitz, which if that's what you do, that's great. Smooth caught a touchdown at Ohio State, in the back of the end zone. Toby's caught some balls. Braylon's been able to pull some down and run. I think what happens is it allows the offense to truly balance up. When you do get into certain areas and more players are being productive. The more we can get out of Toby and Holmes and Cade, the more flexibility we have down there, because now you have to guard them as a blocker in the run game, which means that's an extra blocker for the quarterback run or the running back run, whatever you decide, and you got to be able to cover them in the pass game, so that kind of creates some air. So the more flexibility we have in players playing at a high level, the more things we can do. What we've got to do is make sure when we get down there, we're putting ourselves in the best position based on defensive structure, who's lining up where, what are they trying to take away, what do we expose. You've probably seen a couple of times we've got down on the goal line and kind of exploded. Well, all of a sudden now you got a bunch of big people in there trying to cover out in space. Well, that puts defenses in a little bit of a bind. So just different multiple ways within the offense to get more guys involved is always the plan.
When you look at the defense, Georgia State, what do you see from them on film? What are they doing well, and what are they trying to do?
Yeah, defensively, to me, it starts up front for them. They got a really good group up front. Not as big as far as weight as the Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern was a little bit more of a bulkier group. These guys are a little bit more quick twitch. They're playing really physical up front. They get off blocks. They got a outside linebacker rush in, that's doing a really good job. He's a long guy, creates a lot of havoc in the pass game from a tackle blocking perspective. And then their DBs are active. They get their hands on a lot of balls. I think they run well in the back end, so it creates some coverage issues. And then I think their defensive coordinator is doing a good job of doing what they do well. They run to the ball well, so he's got guys in space running. They tackle well. They're playing a lot of linebackers, at the linebacker position, because they've got a lot of guys in there who can come in and make plays. So what you see a fast, physical defense. What we've got to be able to do is obviously block them. That's the first thing. And then we've got to be able to take advantage of the voids based on their speed. If everybody's running right, we got to try to get in areas to the middle or the left, and put our guys in position to play fast as well.
Coach, you mentioned yesterday the players took some onus that they got to make the plays. Because you have the short week, how eager are they to get back out there and, right the ship, so to speak?
They're itching. I said it after. I love this group. We were supposed to practice in half pads today. They said, no, we're going full pads. I said, okay, we'll go full pads. We were supposed to have just a walkthrough on we were supposed to just meet on Sunday. They said, no, we're walking through. I love the group. I mean, I get it. We dropped the game. That's on me. But don't quit on these players. It's a different group. And they owned it. Just like after the game, I told them, hey, we got to put you in a better position. They told me, no, Coach, hell with that. We got to make plays. And I think when you get both, there's no finger pointing. There's no, oh, well, Coach so-and-so didn't do this or player so-and-so didn't do this. Hey, everybody knows the standard from the head coach all the way down to the people that do a great job of cleaning this building. Everyone knows the standard, and everyone takes extreme ownership. We talked about that this summer. I've got to be able to look in the mirror and say, hey, this is where I got to get better, and we all got to be able to have those conversations. It's not about, well, hey, you screwed up, you lost the game. As soon as the game was over, I told Braylon, hey, look, pick your head up. He was more hurt that he didn't get an opportunity to help the team win, and defense was over to him. Hey, man, it's okay. Like, nobody goes out there to try to mess up. I know that sounds remedial, but nobody goes out there to try to mess up. But there's still a coaching responsibility to try to put us in the best situation possible. There's still an opportunity for us to make some plays. I told the whole team after the game, the last 4 minutes was just what everybody saw. But we know for 56 minutes we missed multiple opportunities, whether that could have been in a better call, offensive, defense, or special teams, could have called a ball, could have ran a certain route, whatever it may be. We saw that, right? What we saw was the last 4 minutes. And I told them, 4 minutes doesn't define our season. We're still in a great position. We got to go out and go 1-0 this week. That's the only thing that matters. And I think that's where their mindset is. They had a players-only meeting on Sunday, and said, hey, look, we're going out here Thursday, and we're going to play to our standard. That's no disrespect to Georgia State. I don't want that to become bulletin board material that all of a sudden they're coming out. No, we know we missed an opportunity as an organization. And when you do that, you want to be able to go back out and prove to yourself, to your fans, to your community, hey, we know we missed an opportunity, but this is who we are.
They played two quarterbacks last week. What have you seen from either of those guys, and how are you preparing for both? Because Dell didn't name a starter yesterday.
Yeah, so he didn't name a starter either. Interesting. That's interesting. Really, he didn't name a starter. Interesting. Well, I think we've watched film on both, obviously. So we started, just to give a little, because we knew that this was kind of the week, we started gathering information on Georgia State back in the bye week, just because we knew it was going to be a short week. So we wanted to have a library of stuff to go to. You refresh it, take out what's not new. Saturday night after the game, we got back about 4. Coaches came right in. Most of us stayed here overnight, started working on them. So we found out that they played 2, so we had to go back to what we looked at a couple bye weeks ago, or last bye week. I think the starter, the transfer from Pitt, a little bit bigger, a little bit strong arm. If you look at, there's been some opportunities where he's maybe has missed some throws or missed some reads, but he's probably hit as many as he's missed. You don't have as much film on the backup. When he came in This last game, he probably got him. He probably had the best drive of the game for them. He moved them down the field. But what you see is similarity. You see similarity in scheme. You see similarity in play call. You see similarity in what they're asking them both to do. So we'll find out whatever guy they start. Typically, there's a slight change in what you're asking each guy to do. I mean, not completely different, but there's a slight change based on a player's comfort level. What does he see well? I thought the backup did a really good job of getting the ball out of his hand quickly. I thought the kid from Pitt has a really strong arm. He can get it down there to the big receiver, number 16. We got to do everything we can to not let him get loose on a post ball or go ball because he can run. The quarterback that's been throwing it to him can throw it. So we got to do a great job of having poise in the back end. That was one of the things that I thought we did improve on. You know, we didn't have as many pass interference and holding calls in the back end. We're going to be challenged again from that perspective because they're going to try to push the ball down the field. But I do think the schemes will be similar with slight change based on player comfort level is probably the best way to say it.
Anything further for Coach?
All right, thank you guys. I want to definitely say to all the fans that are headed this way, it's an opportunity for Huntington to show nationally, ESPN2, everybody's watching Thursday Night Football, a great opportunity for us to show what this community is really about. The students that'll be there, a phenomenal environment here in the Joan. Let's put on for the country to show what this community, this football program, this university, this community, and its alumni, donors, fans, students, everybody, what it's about on national television Thursday night. Thank you, guys. Go Herd.
All right, we'll be